I'm used to fighting in the empty arena already. So man, just throw a dog in there with me, man. I don't care. Just let me fight. Let me show that. You know, it just sucks that this fucking virus is coming out in the year that I'm trying to make my breakout year. And man, now I'm not only fighting opponents, I'm fucking fighting viruses now, man. It's crazy.
and I mean, how tough would it be? Because you haven't been able to fight since all July. I know you had like a fight canceled. Like, if you know, God forbid it gets canceled, like how difficult would that be? How much of a letdown for you would that be to not get back in the cage?
I mean, it'd be a huge letdown. It'd just be, I guess, less of one because it wasn't from people being pussies and backing out.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd just be from actual real,
Yeah.
you know, a worldwide crisis.
Yeah.
You know, and that is nothing to accept. That's an easier flaw to accept than someone just being like, "Oh, I hurt my ankle," or "Oh, I just don't want to fight you," and pulling out. I mean, worst or best case scenario, at least it's a world emergency.
And you know, for you know, like I mentioned, you haven't fought since then. For a fighter, for a non-major company, could mean a lot of financial turmoil. But I know you have a day job. I watched a video on your Instagram stories about, I believe, you putting up like an outdoor shower and stuff like that. You were very proud of yourself. Talk to me about, you know, having that day job that you have. You know, how it's helped you make ends meet in a difficult time in terms of MMA scheduling, and helped you alongside this budding MMA stardom you have.
I mean, it's great, man. I was going with this other company working. I actually made more money working for this other company per hour, but it was getting to the point where I really had to rely on my fighting to help make the ends meet on my bills. But, you know, I actually got this new job. I'm a welding apprentice. It actually takes a lot of stress off, and I was actually able to get all my medical work done and paid for, and everything's all done without, you know, the help of sponsors. And I still like, and I need my sponsors for other reasons, but you know, it's very solid having a good day job. And welding, you know, everyone needs welding, everyone needs metal work. So I mean, the silver lining is I mean, if I don't go to work on Friday for LFA, I go back to regular work.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up, like, you know, the having the J job, because I was gonna ask about that too. Because in the, you know, in the story that you had with ESPN before that last Fight Night Contender series, they talked about, you know, you didn't have health care. You were going to like a local pet shop to get insulin because you need to get insulin for your type 1 diabetes.
Whoa. Mike is a great guy. He's a great interview, but he stretched that pretty far.
All right.
Just to clear the record, I do not take dog insulin.
Okay.
Fucking A. It's a human insulin. It's actually, I'm under Kaiser now, and I have good health insurance.
Right.
But yeah, man. But they use the NPR insulin, which is it's NPR based insulin, and that's the exact same type of insulin that I get. It's from Walmart. But if you don't have a prescription, or if it's too expensive for you to pay for that prescription, it's like you can go to Walmart and get the exact same quality for $25 a vial. And that happens to be because you know they're dogs. You take them to the vet, they know this, and they will send you to Walmart to get that same prescription medicine that you can use for your dog. It is not the dog insulin.
Well,
you know, I'm over here. People thinking I'm over here going to the pet shop and buying insulin. Like,
I mean, but that has to, you know, your opponents were like, this guy takes dog insulin. What's he gonna do to me in the cage? I had to help a little bit on that level.
Fight him.
You know, but I mean, and I also bring it up too because, you know, not having healthcare, I'm glad you have it now. That's fantastic. You know, I know how I am. At a certain age, at your age, I wasn't that into politics. I am now much older. You know, having to go through having to, you know, pay the bills, having to need things like healthcare to deal with your type 1 diabetes. Has it changed you? Has it made you care about things like politics? Are you like watching the Democratic debates and, you know, seeing the campaigning on changing healthcare and the frustration of American healthcare? Has it made you look at the world in a different way from a lot of people your age because what you've gone through with your type 1 diabetes?
Oh yeah, I mean, ever since the start. I mean, the reason why I ventured away from healthcare is because, and I mean, it kind of was it's still a thing now with it. Like, say I have health insurance, under Kaiser, and I went to go pick up a prescription for my insulin, a 3-month supply. Dog, it was $375 for 3 months. Like, it's still crazy expensive.
Yeah.
I have Kaiser healthcare, and they're telling me I'm paying my monthly dues. I'm paying a plan that like it's this kind of plan on the covered CA, but without the covered CA, I'd be paying $330 out of my pocket alone for my healthcare.
Wow.
And then now I still paying that much. I still have to pay $375 for 3 months for insulin, and that's not even all that. And the brunt of that payment is $225 for the insulin alone. 150 goes towards the insulin or the needles, the test strips, the meter, and those are more reoccurring thing than just the insulin. The insulin, it's like, you can go buy a couple months of buying, but you gotta stock up on supplies a lot for diabetes, and it's not just the insulin. There's a lot of things that go. There's juice. I gotta buy juice and sugar supplies. I always have glucose tablets, everything to keep. So yeah, I mean, I've been paying more attention to the healthcare, but it doesn't seem like it's been changing that much, and I don't think that they are going to change how much money they fucking are taking out of our pockets, out of the diabetics' pockets. That's the one thing I've seen continuously over the past decade.
Now, I'm definitely going to come back to that stuff a little bit, but I want to get into the fight game career for you. Now, the last time we talked, it was right before, the second appearance in the Contender Series. Yeah, it didn't work out for you on that night. Very good, super competitive, super fun split decision fight for you. In key moments in your career so far, like your fights in Bellator, like I mentioned, like the first time in the Contender Series, you succeeded in those big moments. This is the first time that in a big moment that it didn't go your way. Was that fight, that loss, tough to get over? Especially because of the BS with the last time in the Contender Series where you won and they got big champion no contest, so you got lucky enough to get a second chance. Was that loss a tough thing to get over for a little while?
I mean, it was like a roller coaster. It was really tough, and when I'm in the back end stitched up, it was so tough. And then I even heard when I was getting stitched up, I heard what Dana said in a very faint thing. And I was all sitting up, all teary eyed. I was like, "Fucking at least Dana White thought I was." And then I met up with my family after the fight because a lot of my family flew up to Vegas, and then we were all sitting down, and my brothers, man, they were so fucking pissed. Like, my family was heated. Like, "Yo, you won the fight." Like, bro, my uncle was he was so pissed, and then at that point I was just kind of like the fight's over, because I mean, man, I was getting mentally prepped. It's nerve-wracking. Like you said, this is my second time on the show. I was supposed to come out there and show up. I mean, I was a huge underdog on the card, and I'm fighting someone from Dagestan. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar. Like, they had a camera guy follow the UFC world champion. He's over there showing places where people shit over holes. Like no plumbing. Yep. Like, they're hugely known for wrestling. Badass people out there. Much respect to the Dagestani people out there. I had nothing but love and respect for y'all. But I come from plumbing. we got plumbing here in USA. We got streets. We got fucking meat that doesn't make your stomach turn sour. Yeah. Like, we good out here. And then, I mean, so it was kind of a relief. Like, after the fight, I knew that I can not only hang and compete against anyone from the world. It's just like that. I could bang with them and I can beat them. Like, it's just like, so I was kind of a relief, and I was comfortable with that at one point in the night. And then I could just see my brothers. They're just like, one of my little brother, he was just like, because at the dinner table, I was kind of like, I had a couple drinks in me. I was like, you know what? We got past this fight. This is good. Like, and just to give myself a mental break and some mental clarity and just a little bit of time off from the grind and the thinking that, I won that fight and I should be pissed off and all this stuff. And I gave myself a little mental break from that, and I could just see my little brother gleaming at me. And he was just staring at me. And then at the end of the night, he was just like, what it came to find out, what it was he's just like, "Dog, how could you not be so fucking angry?" I was like, "I'm so pissed." And I was kind of like, "Man, you just gotta kind of like, I'm just happy I got through the fight, no major injuries. Everyone thought I won, dog. So there's a little bit of a silver lining. But then when I got home, then I started getting angry again, and then it's like like you said, it's been a long time since I fought. I fought like what, last July.
Hmm.
My hair was this long. Like, dude, look, my hair is. I need to get back in the cage, man. There, people gonna be surprised looking at me. My style appearance difference. You know, it's just
Mm.
like it's been a long time, and then now this fucking virus thing is getting in the way, dude. It's just like everything. I mean, life is funny, man. It'll throw a bunch of variables at you, but you know, like let's just hope that we get the LFA answers this equation right, and I can get into the cage, and like there's no bad thing. There's no spread of the virus and everything. And, that's where I'm at right now. I was actually, it was a roller coaster, a little bit upset, but, we're past that now. We're looking forward, and we're going to go in this next fight, like, ready.
Now you talked about. I'm glad you mentioned that, like competing with the best in the world, because recently that you were you headed out of town to go train with one of the best kickboxers in the world. Talk to me about how that came together, and the takeaways from that experience you had.
Well, my head coach, Dave Terrell, he was trained for this stand-up by George Sasui. And that's the gym he has is Combat Fitness. And that's over there in Concord. So over there in Concord, next in Pleasant Hill, there's a good guy named Dan Black. And he has a gym out there. And he's associated with George Sasui. Under him, has Matt Baker, and George Sasui, he has Charles Rodriguez, and so he's really good, coming up in glory. And Matt Baker is ranked number 4 in the world,
Wow.
6'5", solid muscle, and this guy can punch, man. And we just connected the dots through our coaches, and my coach knows Dan Black and George, and so I've actually been sparring with Matt Baker for like 3 or 4 years now, and I've been sparring with him through his come up, and so we just kind of kept the relationships tight. And I'm just really pleased, and I thank you, Matt, for letting me come in there and get punched in the face and leg kicked and body. Dude, this guy, he has some skills, man, and he throws down. So that's how that connection has been tight through the years.
That made you drop so much weight?
Man, I mean, it was that documentary of
the meat
Netflix,
one, the one with the meat that did. I made me go away from me.
Yeah, I got the Game Changers. What's up?
Yes.
Yeah, the meat one. I stopped eating. I mean, and me and my stomach, it doesn't really sit well with dairy.
Yeah.
So I already am basically, I don't eat dairy. Besides, creamer in my coffee, cheese on a cheeseburger. When I am cheating on eating the burger, that's the only time I eat dairy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I cut out dairy's already been out. I cut out meat, and now I walk around at like 183, 182. Wow. And then after practice last night, I was 176.
So I mean, but this fight's gonna be a middleweight, right?
Yeah. But when I accepted this fight, when I was first accepting this fight, I've been doing this diet for about like a month or 2 months now, but it just suddenly started to take effect in like the past month. So then I've been trying to gain weight for the past month, but trying to do it the healthy way, not trying to eat meat and dairy-based proteins, because it's just like, it just taints your blood, man. You just don't perform, like it's slowing you down. So that was a diet change I made. And then once you go that route, you're kind of like, well, let me just stop eating candy. Let me just stop eating all this bullshit, because, I don't want me not eating meat going to waste. Yeah. So I made a diet change, and it kind of just transpired across the board on me just being better with my whole intake.
Have you noticed a big difference in your energy levels and how you feel and all those basic things? Also, and is the goal are you thinking about maybe going to welterweight if, in the next fight? It seems inevitable based on your weight right now then.
Yeah, I mean, my management, they're talking to me that like, the last couple of fighters that, like Kyle Stewart, he fought at 170 his last, or not, I don't know if his last fight, but when he fought Eric Koch in the UFC, it was at 170s. And so my management's being I love my management. Shout out to our Radium Sports Agency, by the way. Jason and Jamie Lachow, Lance, Jacob Parga, Ed, everyone out there. I appreciate y'all so much. They're doing good things. So they're transitioning me over to a 170 weight class, but so they're finding me fights at 185. I think let's try to make this, or call this my last fight at 185. If, if we get the big call up to the UFC, that this will definitely be my last call or a fight at 185 because they've been trying to find fighters like that normally fight at 170, but they'll take the fight at 185, which is a good adjustment for me because, you know, 170s are quicker. They still got good knockout power, but, you know, they're letting me fight that quickness at a weight that I got used to. So now I'm going to get used to that quickness, and then I'll drop the weight and fight at 170 at 170. That's our plan right now. So really, yeah, like you said, it seems inevitable. And let's just be honest, man. I fucking won that last fight at 185. And every other fight before that, I've had 5 fights at 185. I finished everyone. Knockout. I knocked out everyone that I fought at 185, besides my last fight. Yet UFC don't want me. So it's like they just, I don't think that they consider me a 185er. So I think if UFC or top level performing is the goal, and then also I got 2 knockouts. 2 of those knockouts at 185 was for the Bellator.
Yeah.
Huge promotion.
Yeah.
They didn't want that. After, like, you know, it's like kind of like you know, it's kind of cool that like they did a single fight contract. So just in case if I did get the big call upstairs, I can go. But at the same time, it'd be nice for you guys to even show a little bit of interest. Yeah. Like, oh damn, I just knocked out 2 people. One of them was undefeated. Another one was a 3rd-degree black belt, and all you guys just say is good job. So it's just like I don't think that people are really sold on the fact that I'm a 185er. You know.
Do you think maybe in a way then, because the season's still a couple of months off, your fight's coming up, could this maybe be a showcase for the PFL? You know, the season doesn't start till May. Maybe you can slot in their PFL welterweight division.
Hey man, I'll you know what? I'll go anywhere who's offering me a nice career like paycheck. You know, PFL is a good, like, they got, you know, I love their system, you know, and it's a great system. I'll go take Bellator, UFC, basically any promotion. PFL, yeah, that'd be a great one. My management's just kind of like wanting me to stay away from like prison and like UFC, ONE FC and stuff like that, to where they don't care if you're at the top of the you know, the UFC totem pole. Even they'll cut you. They'll like, they had like because I was talking to my management, like, yo, like, what about like Asia and all that, what they got to offer? Like, yo, Asia, they don't like Americans, man. They'll screw you over. Like, you know, like they signed a 6-fight contract with this guy, and before he even had one of the fights, they just dropped him completely.
Wow.
Like, just like, yeah. So, you know, so it's like they, like, you know, PFL would sound great. Any of those organizations would sound good to me.
On Instagram, we talked about it a bit, and it was a notable part of that Mark Raimondi interview on ESPN and last year, in your use of marijuana and how helpful it is for dealing with the stresses that come with, you know, your diabetes and stuff like that. However, it is still not legal, unfortunately, in many places, and you have to quit. You know, you talked to me about close to the fights, and you have to stop using for it, which you are in the midst of right now. What are the negative effects when you have to lay off of marijuana for a few weeks before the fight, and what do you try to do to replace it with?
Right. Okay. So you get very, very crazy dreams. Like, you start dreaming crazy, man. That sticky icky, as you refer to, man, it does wonders for me. I mean, it helps me. Like, the reason why it's not allowed is because they consider it a performance enhancing drug.
Yeah.
And I don't consider it a performance enhancing drug in the way that they consider it. But for me, I mean, for me, it kind of, I take a bong rip, man, and I can go run for miles. You know, I can forget about how bad my body hurts, how much weight I'm cutting. Well, I'm not cutting weight anymore, but you know, but when I was cutting weight, it helped me relieve the stress of all that shit, so I can just go and chug ahead on forward. But now, just like, oh man, the night sweats are crazy too, man. Oh my goodness, I'll be waking up, I'm gonna put on my own sweat. I wake up, my girlfriend's like, or my fiance's like on the other side of the bed, like, you know, it's like it's a big detox. Yeah. I do it habitually, like, you know, it is a big part of my life. But you know what? Fighting's bigger. So, you know, as much of a problem and a hassle it is for me, I've learned that, you know, it's not worth the timeout and the slap on the wrist they give you for smoking. So I just gotta I just gotta stop, man.
And I know you have to check your insulin constantly to make sure your right levels and stuff like that. You know, and the marijuana helps with, you know, just the drama that comes with that, the stress of doing with that. When you can't have the marijuana, like how much, because it's stressful enough to have a fight camp in those last few weeks going in as you get closer to, you know, this getting in a cage and fighting someone, and then you already have the normal stresses of what you have to deal with on a daily basis because your health, you know, your health issue. How much more stressful does it make it, you know, not being able to have the marijuana? You know, they talk about people, fighters are unbearable to deal with when they're cutting weight. I mean, I'm sure your fiance can't stand you that last week or so.
Yeah, I mean, God bless my fiance and everything for putting up with me, man, and everything, because I am a tough cookie to eat when I don't have marijuana, and I just like you said, man, and you like with a fighter cutting weight or a diabetic has low blood sugar
Yeah.
or really high blood sugar, you step in their way, man, like you're down messing for like, oh, getting cursed out or something, man. It's just my patience is like at
Oh,
zero. I don't have it. So like, I'll be getting like I don't call them arguments, but I guess technically you can say they're arguments with
yeah,
my coach because I don't like to say, oh, I argue with my head
yeah,
coach.
yeah.
But he'd be like, I came in here today and I just don't want no one to second guess me and everything. But I'd be kind of lipping off and kind of a little smart and be like, yo, and just with my comments and stuff. And there's been a couple of times like, yeah, coach, I need to be a better teammate. Like, I need to like relax and just be a better teammate. So those are all kind of the things that I deal with, and not being so self-centered when I quit smoking marijuana. Marijuana makes me like a more lovable person for everybody, and like not just to everybody lovable. It makes me love everyone more at both aspects. So, so maybe it is a good thing that they're making me not smoke. I'm gonna come in like a bat out of hell, man. It's gonna be
Is it
crazy.
the type of thing that you're? I know you have your dog. You love your dog. Is it almost make you more thankful for your dog because dogs are just happy to see you all the time. They're just the best. And cats are the worst. Dogs are the best. Does it make you like when you're really shitty, like, and the dog looks at you and with that love, and you're like, oh, all right, I'm not that mad.
Right. Right. I feel like no, see, it's kind of on the other aspect of that too, because I'll be looking at him when I'm angry. Yeah, he'll do that for me. But also at the same time, when I'm all like popping off and being like, my normal self, not on marijuana, like my dog, he'll go sit in the corner away from me,
Oh.
and he'll go like, he'll go sit. He's kind of just like, oh, he's a little,
Yeah,
he's
they
a little
can
scary right
tell.
now.
They can tell. It's crazy.
Yeah, they can tell, then I'll see him all cowering in the corner. I'm not even mad at him. Like, okay, maybe I need to calm down a little bit. So he definitely calms me down on both aspects for sure. I love my dog. He definitely helps me out. Shout out to Jabali.